Daenerys Targaryen. She says she is the mother of dragons. But would you trust her with your kids? Her father was a maniac. She palled around with Dothraki terrorists. She asked the city of Karth for a government bailout. Then she lost 3 baby dragons after placing them in an unlocked wooden box. An unlocked wooden box. This Khaleesi wants to be queen of the 7 kingdoms, but can she be trusted? Daenerys Targaryen. Wrong for dragons. Wrong for the realm. Paid for by the Committee to Protect Dragons.
We don't know anything about him.
He was never really vetted.
Is he really the true-born son of Robert Baratheon?
All over the 7 kingdoms, people are asking the same question. Who is the real King Joffrey? The people of Westeros are hurting. Winter is coming. Crop yields are falling, and the price of fuel is going up.
The cost of peat moss is through the thatched roof.
And this young and inexperienced king takes advice from a whoremongering imp and has launched an illegal war in the north. What is King Joffrey hiding? This is not our kind of family values. King Joffrey. What a bastard.
What a bastard.
Paid for by the Baratheons for freedom. Robb Stark. He's the biggest celebrity in the North. But his father was a traitor. He arrested his own mother. His bastard brother deserted the Night's Watch. And he couldn't defend his own castle. Worst of all, Robb Stark hasn't stopped the wildlings from invading our lands and taking our jobs. He even has an illegal alien for a nanny. And now he wants to be king in the North? King? Some people say he's really a wolf. Some people say he eats dead people. We can't wait until it's too late. Send a raven to Winterfell now and tell Robb Stark to go back home. Stop eating dead people and defend the damn wall. This ad paid for by Crossbows GPS.
You shouldn't have to pay to talk to the people closest to you, or the people who used to be. That's why Umbrella Wireless is proud to announce the new Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan. Now you'll get unlimited calls to your best buddy, your mom, or Cindy, once she realizes that you're seriously meant for each other and should stop screening your calls. Now the 30 minutes of agonizing silence where you're both afraid to hang up may drain your battery, but it won't drain your wallet. And you'll get unlimited calls just to check if she still cares enough to pick up, with no extra charges. With the Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, your phone will automatically answer calls from your ex, because maybe she finally realizes that you're the only one for her and wants to get coffee sometime. Now, after lonely nights of looking at pictures of the road trip you took together when everything was great, your misspelled texts are absolutely free. The only thing you have to pay for is the booze. The Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, because she wants you back. She just doesn't know it yet.
When you can't find anything to watch on cable, you get bored. When you get bored, you listen to radio cooking shows. When you listen to radio cooking shows, you invite a friend over for dinner. When you invite a friend over for dinner, you use twice as many beans. When you use twice as many beans, you expel deadly farts that kill your friend's dog. When you kill your friend's dog, your friend becomes unstable. When your friend becomes unstable, you're sued for everything you're worth. When you're sued for everything you're worth, you're thrown to the streets. When you're thrown to the streets, you devote your life to world domination. When you devote your life to world domination, you become an evil fascist overlord. When you become an evil fascist overlord, old friends plot their revenge. When old friends plot their revenge, you are shot in the back of the head. And when you're shot in the back of the head, you miss your jazzercise appointment. Don't miss your jazzercise appointment. Upgrade to Indirect TV. Go online or call 1-800-ERECT-TV.
Millions of Americans every day are shedding unwanted pounds by taking tested and proven Ultra Lipo Stick. Carbohydrates are bad. Our carbo-fighting antioxidant is good. Just listen to these satisfied customers.
My name is Gail, and I lost like 20 pounds on Ultra Lipo Stick.
My name is Jared, and I lost 46 pounds using Ultra Lipo Stick.
My name is Zach, and I actually gained weight. This stuff sucks!
Ultra Lipo Stick is safe and easy to inject. Just 3 doses 4 times a day discreetly underneath your fingernail. Listen to this.
I used Ultra Lipo Stick and suffered from side effects like uncontrollable greasy discharge.
Ultra Lipo Stick, it turned the armpits of all of my shirts orange. This stuff is crap.
Try it today and see some real results. Ultra Lipo Stick. Not available in stores. Results may vary.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Most politically incorrect black man on the planet, Rod Eccles.
Well, hello, my fellow Americans and all of my fellow liberty lovers across the globe. It is I, your lovable host, El Rod, coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio somewhere in the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is, yes, it still is, live free or die. It is not big government or bust. It is Monday, May the 11th, in the year of our Lord 2015. Boy, I'm a month behind there. As we begin the week, the first full week of May, and the number that you can call this evening is 603-835-3224. That's 603-835-3224. Had a wonderful weekend. Yes, the temperatures were high. It was very warm, low humidity. Well, I know some people they had higher humidities in their area, but not around here. It was yesterday. Sunday was extremely hot, I might add, and because it was hot, we had to deal with it being hot for the first time. Well, I guess it really wasn't the first time this year, but it was definitely warm. We loved it. At least I did. It was a beach day, beach weather kind of day. You go to the beach before the crowds start to hit from, because summer doesn't officially, as they always say, it's officially starts on Memorial Day at the end of May. And now this year Memorial Day is, I'm not sure, because, well, I think it's the 25th of May, because the way the weeks run, and it's usually on a Monday, so it's never in June. So, but see, that following Monday is going to be like, well, let me pull up a calendar here and say, okay, so you have the last full week of May is May 24th through May 30th, which makes that Sunday, May 31st, which makes Monday, June 1st. And I've never heard of Memorial Day being on June 1st. So I do believe that Memorial Day is rather early in the month this year on the 25th. Now, be that as it may, that means you got about, for all you people who have been trying to get in shape, you got about 2 weeks left to get yourself in shape to be ready for the beaches and whatnot. on Memorial Day. I did not see the Farmer's Almanac about the summer weather this year, because they were kind of dead on about the winter. So I just thinking about it, I wonder what they might think of what their prediction for this summer is. Hopefully it's going to be long and hot, like, they were right about the winter being long and cold and rather snowy. I think they underestimated the snow there, but they were right about it. So hopefully they will. Hopefully they'll say something very nice and give us something very warm for the summer months. But in any case, we're going to begin the week off right here in the Bunker Eyes home studio. Got a lot to cover. Got a lot of stuff coming up this week. Now, you guys got to pay attention. You can't. I know summer's coming, but you can't fall off. You got to keep your eyes and ears open. I mean, there's just a lot of things going on out there right now that affects your freedom, and you need to pay attention to it, because as much as I'd love to be the guy that can bring you every single little last detail about what's out there that's affecting your freedom, what the government is trying to do to affect your freedom, one person can't do it. You've got to pay attention. You can't depend on somebody else to do it for you, because, look, we're going to miss something, especially seeing how this is such a very large country. And there's so much that could be going on in your neighborhood, and I'm not in your neighborhood. I'm probably nowhere near your neighborhood from wherever you're listening. I mean, even if you're listening here in New Hampshire, neighborhoods in New Hampshire are quite different. We don't always know what's going on in somebody else's neighborhood. For instance, we had Chris Christie up here in New Hampshire, but he was over in Keene. Now, I don't know what is going on all of a sudden I find it kind of interesting that the American people do not consider global warming to be a big threat. In fact, if you look at the top 10 issues that Americans are concerned about or worried about, man-made global warming or climate change isn't in the top 10. It is not in the top 10. They're not. That's not something that we're paying attention to. It's not on our radar. We're not. There are too many other important things. But why is it that we constantly have this thing about global warming keep popping up? What is it that our leaders want to hide from us or wag the dog on us about? I mean, none of it really makes any sense. When you really think about, are we really do we really believe in global warming? And fewer people are beginning to believe in global warming. That's the whole point. So So we're having to deal with that. Excuse me there. A little bit of adjusting of the mic. I apologize. Sometimes that happens. It just sort of slips and slides, and you have to do your thing with it to adjust it. But here, Governor Christie is out there in Keene, New Hampshire, talking about that global warming is real. Look, Governor Christie. First of all, the vast majority of Americans really are not all that concerned about global warming, and a growing number of us don't believe it in any way. And not to mention that NASA has all of this satellite data, if you will, tomato, that shows that the planet has not warmed in the last 18 years. There has been no warming. In fact, there has been some cool... I watched a program about climate change over the weekend. And it really wasn't about climate change as it was about, global climate systems. And I watched another program that talked about end of the world prophecies. What does science say about the end of the world? And there were some end of the world scenarios that I was not familiar with before. And there were some, prophecies of the end of the world that I was familiar with, but I didn't know the full details behind them, such as the Viking end of the world Ragnarok. And basically, it was, they were talking about the earth, it was going to be a winter forever. That was going to be the end. There was going to be a period where the temperature dropped, and it was going to be winter for 3 years, and then all crops would die, and animals would die, and then people would start to die, and it'd be winter forever. That is what the Vikings were worried about or feared for the end of the world. Ragnarok, just a frozen state. In other words, another ice age. Now, obviously, this planet has seen a number, at least 3 ice ages in its history. That's what we know so far. So, therefore, we realize that this planet has a very dynamic, diverse, and extreme climate system. That it can swing, from being extremely warm, because it has been warmer in the past than it is now. So it can go from extremely warm to extremely cold, because it's also been colder, obviously, with having 3 ice ages, than it is now. So this whole notion that I can't believe I keep having to pound on this. Because I want you to understand, and I want you to start telling and pushing your leaders out there, especially those who are trying to run for president or think they're running for president, to stop obfuscating in trying to, wag the dog on other issues here. Because global warming is a red herring. I don't care if you think it exists or not. It's not something that's really important, especially seeing how you see some of these some of the scientific data from these people that do believe in global warming or tell you that global warming is real. And they tell you that even if we stop polluting, not another drop of pollution, not another molecule of gas gets spit into the air, not another ounce of fossil fuel is ever burned again. Starting right now, today. That if we stop polluting 100% today, that it will not change the course of our climate for the next 100 years. It's not going to happen. Say, if the planet's going to warm up, and even if we do stop all the pollution, then it's gonna not matter for 100 years. No, in 100 years from now, it's still going to be whatever temperature that they said it was going to be. So if that's the case, then that kind of tells me that, we're not really into it. It's not really us then. Now, is it? I don't think so. I mean, it is kind of weird that this would happen now. I don't know why we're getting all of these, supposed conservatives running around. I mean, even the last time around, Mitt Romney was acknowledging that there was global. Look, there is no global warming. This is all about big government, folks. Plain and simple. Even you have these rhinos that are out there that like big government. They do. They like it. They want to keep it. If you have to have over-regulation, then over-regulation means you have to have a bigger department that deals with that particular regulation. You have to have more people. You have to have more legal personnel that will enforce that regulation. So this is all about bigger government. It's about nothing else. I don't care if it is, Mr. Christie out there. Oh, Chris Christie, he's okay guy. He's a Republican. I'd vote for him. Yeah, I can see that. Especially over Hillary Clinton. Yeah, I'd vote for Chris Christie over Hillary Clinton any day. Absolutely. But would he be a good nominee for the Republicans, for the Republican Party and the Conservatives? I don't think so. I do not think so. Because he's too much of a rhino. Republican in name only. For those of you who want to know what that is. Why does everybody keep saying rhino, Rod? I mean, rhino is R-H-I-N-O. No, rhino, R-I-N-O, no H. Republican in name only. In other words, there's a bunch of wannabes out there, liberal Republicans, if you will. A bunch of liberal Republicans. And they don't have a love for smaller government. Not at all. So don't even think that they might, because they don't. And they're not going to change their whims or their beliefs or trade in their power to save your freedom. That's not what they're all about. Now I know that there are a lot of people out there that like Chris Christie, and there are some things that Chris Christie has. There are some things that Chris Christie has that, or believes in that are not Republican, that are not conservative leaning. There are quite a few things that Chris Christie believes in that are not conservative leaning. Plain and simple. So, is he the gentleman that I would be? Now, I know there are probably some Chris Christie advocates out there who are following the sound of my voice, and they're thinking, well, Rod Christie, he's got it going on. He could do it. You're like, no, not going to buy it. I'm sorry, can't deal with. He's not my first choice. He's not my second choice. I'd probably choose him over Jeb Bush, but other than that, yeah, no. I believe him more to be a rhino than a Republican, a true Republican, for a number of different reasons. And this whole thing on global warming being caused by man is just one of those things. Plain and simple. And so I know he was here. I did not see him in person over there in Keene, but why not have him in Keene with Keene State College and everything? There you go. So Christie was over there giving a speech over in New Hampshire, Keene, New Hampshire, because, it's one of those places where people go, where the news goes to during the primary and see what people are voting on and what people have said and things like that for primary votes to see if they can predict who the winner is or who New Hampshire is going to go for. Somebody brought something up to me earlier today. Switching topic subjects for a little bit here. Somebody brought something up to me today about gays, and they were combining it with the Draw Muhammad cartoon contest by Miss Geller down in Texas. I'm thinking, okay, well, what you got? What you got for me? Because people, they tell me all kinds of stuff. So I'm just like, okay, what you got? What you got? You got to tell me something here. Wasted my time already. I'm looking at my watch, and I don't even have a watch on. Got to tell me something. Got to give me something, man. Give it up. Give it up. So after he finally quit laughing, he said, I have this idea. He said, what liberals don't understand, because, everybody's all out there trying to stand against Geller for having this anti-Muslim cartoon contest. He said, no, what if What if we looked at it this way? In Christian business owners should pay attention to this then. Because he says, Christian business owners are being targeted left and right when they don't want to serve gays for anything. So he's like, well, what if we did this? Seeing how the left doesn't think that we should be mocking the Prophet Muhammad in caricature or in cartoons because it offends Islamists. So now, wouldn't it be logical to not want to, if you didn't want to offend Muslims over drawing the picture of Muhammad, then why would you do anything else or allow anything else that might offend your sense of religion? And I said, now that's a thought, but where are you going with this? It's like, well, what if a Christian business owner says that they can't support a gay wedding simply because by doing so, that's going to upset and insult Islamists? And I thought for a second there, and I'm thinking, oh, he might be onto something here. Yeah, believe it or not, I do not come up with every single brilliant idea out there. Other people do have brilliant ideas. I have to admit, I don't come up with them. Every single brilliant idea on this program, I didn't come up with them all. I know it's a shock to you, but I have to be honest about it. So I'm sitting there thinking, yeah, that's got some merit to it. So what if a Christian baker decided next time, well, I'm not going to bake a cake for your gay wedding, because if I do, it would offend and insult Muslims. Now, since we already know that you're not supposed to offend a Muslim now, it's okay, because that would be fine. If you don't, well, it's okay if you do not offend gays, right, or Muslims. You're not supposed to offend them at all. Obviously, that's what the left is telling us. It's okay to offend the Christian, but not the Muslim and not the gay people. Okay, so what happens if the gay people offend the Muslims? I'm just asking a question. What happens if now understand that Muslims, real true radical Islamists, they say that our very existence of the infidel offends them. So is it not true that gays are also infidels? Yeah, they are, according to Muhammad, which means, you don't get to... How can you... well, then you don't have to support the gays then, because it's going to affect and offend Muslims, plain and simple. It's a beautiful thing. Christians should have thought of that before. This guy came up with a beautiful, comeback to all the stuff that's going on out there against us, against Christians. All you got to do, and this could apply to just about anything, because indeed there's a lot of stuff out there that evidently offends Muslims. So basically, all you have to do is just say, look, I am a true Christian business owner. However, I cannot support your particular festivities or version of happiness, whatever it may be. And it isn't due to the fact that I personally do or do not support your such said activity of yours. No. I'm selfless in that manner. Because, you see, I don't want to be the one that causes another shootout somewhere. I cannot support you because I don't want to offend Muslims. And I don't want them coming here shooting up your party simply because I did something or said something on your cake that would offend them. So I don't want to offend Muslims. Plain and simple. Yeah, I think that's beautiful. That would work.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. Call InventHelp today.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-352-1609. That's 1-800-352-1609.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method and to get your free report, go to 52security.com. That's the number 52security.com. 52security.com. Go to 52security.com.
Hurt or injured in a car accident? It can be hard to take the proper legal action after a car accident, but waiting can cost you more. The law requires car accident victims to assert claims promptly. You could lose out by simply waiting. Call 800-709-4667 right now to see what your claim could be worth when handled by a skilled attorney. With a lawyer fighting and speaking up for you, you could be entitled to a big cash award. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Now it's fast and easy to connect with the legal help you need after your car accident. Call 800-709-4667. The call is free, but you need to act now before time runs out on your claim. You need a lawyer to fight for you, protect you, and get you the compensation you need and deserve. Time's wasting. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Call now.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please call or go online right now.
You shouldn't have to pay to talk to the people closest to you, or the people who used to be. That's why Umbrella Wireless is proud to announce the new Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan. Now you'll get unlimited calls to your best buddy, your mom, or Cindy, once she realizes that you're seriously meant for each other and should stop screening your calls. Now the 30 minutes of agonizing silence where you're both afraid to hang up may drain your battery, but it won't drain your wallet. And you'll get unlimited calls just to check if she still cares enough to pick up, with no extra charges. With the Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, your phone will automatically answer calls from your ex, because maybe she finally realizes that you're the only one for her and wants to get coffee sometime. Now, after lonely nights of looking at pictures of the road trip you took together when everything was great, your misspelled texts are absolutely free. The only thing you have to pay for is the booze. The Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, because she wants you back. She just doesn't know it yet.
listening to The Rod Eccles Show.
603-835-3224 as we roll along into the second segment. Now, here's a story I think I brought to you last week. It was about the family that, well, there's a family, just a second, I will get to that. There's some other things that I need to get. One of the things that I'm having issues with, that I absolutely hate, and that's with a lot of you websites out there. I don't know why you've switched to this method, but it's a pain in the butt. It takes longer to load up, even when you've got a newer computer. You've got this idea that, we'll just throw ads up there. This is why people are putting up ad blocker, because they're tired of this stuff popping up in front of their screen when they're trying to read or watch something. And you have it timed so that it is very annoying. Now, I got to tell you, as being in the marketing industry and being a marketing person, an advertising person, if you are, do not fall for this notion that the reason that they're doing this still is because it works. Actually, those pop-up ads, especially the ones that happen like 30 to 40 seconds after the page stops loading, you think you're done, and you start scrolling, and all of a sudden it locks up the screen, or at least that page, until you do something with that ad that just popped up. People get pissed off about that. And the lie about this thing is, now pay attention to me. The lie is that, well, people click on them, so they work. And the point is these things do have a fairly high click-through rate. Well, the problem is that people want to get rid of them. So, they have these really, really, really tiny close or delete boxes. It's a little X in a corner somewhere, and they're usually very tiny. And a lot of times people, they're not right dead on, because they want to, they're rushing through it because they want to get back to what they were just started watching or reading. And so they miss the little tiny close box, and it ends up going to the advertiser's page. And they say, well, see, it's working. We're, getting it. No, it's not. Because the whole point is that click-through rates are a bunch of BS. And this is what Facebook does to people. This is what a lot of these marketers do to people. They talk about this click-through rate. Well, the click-through rate is a bunch of BS. What counts is, do people want to go to your site? Do they want to learn more about your ad? And from there, will they be converted? Now, if you're talking about a click-through rate, and then you start looking at conversion rates from these types of ads, you'll see the conversion rate versus click-through rate is extremely low, lower than average. Why? Because the click-through rate doesn't mean anything, because most people who click on this stupid ad, they don't want to go to it. Now, the other thing that I have a problem with, quite frankly, is when it comes to these pages and networks, and a lot of your news pages are like this now. And it really ticks me off. Look, if I want to watch video, I will press play. Do not load up or try to jam up somebody's computer. Now, because me, especially, I'm a multitasker. Now, unless you have some ultimate wicked fast a gaming computer with a dual video drives and the like, when you're heading over to things like Fox or MSNBC or even some of the other places like USA Today or Washington Times or Washington Post, a lot of times what they will do is they will everything is set to it's set to automatically play. So that means that as soon as you go to the page that you want to go to, there's a video, and there's a video there. That video is going to try to load up. Well, it's not like going to YouTube, because there is so much other stuff on that page. There's a ton of other stuff there. And what happens, it really bogs down. And if you have an older computer, and which I do, I have an older machine, and along with a newer machine, and it's going to bog down your old machine. It is, and oftentimes it will lock it up or freeze it up, simply because it's trying to load that video, because it's an automatic play without your permission. No, look, I'm not down with. I hate that. And they've got it so configured that a lot of times people will say, well, you know what? I'll just click the stop loading X, on the up in the bar, the navigation bar. No. That doesn't work anymore. It doesn't work anymore, folks. You can click that stop, freeze the loading of the page. And that used to work. It doesn't work anymore. The page will still load fully. And this is another thing that people just don't realize. And this is, now, why am I bringing this up? You're like, well, what that? This is all stuff that's your choice. You don't have to go to that website, Rod. You don't have to go to that website. You can sit through them loading it up if you want to. It doesn't have to be instantaneous. Geez, come on, be a little bit more patient. The point is that you're trying to get something that you want, and you can't get to it without being interfered with. You're being offered one thing, and then before you know it, all this other stuff is thrown in on that, even though you don't want it. You want to go to this particular page, to, Timbuktu page, Timbuktu.com, because you want to read a story about Timbuktu. But as soon as you get to Timbuktu, you type in Timbuktu.com and you get on Timbuktu.com /home, well, up in the one corner pops, Ellen DeGeneres looking all sad and mad because, people found out that her secret Avon, whatever makeup she uses, secret. It's out now. And then up, and you start to read the Timbuktu story on Timbuktu.com, and 30 seconds later, another ad that causes the page that you're looking at to go foggy, so you really can't see it. And in the middle of this fog is a nice bright new ad. You have no, because it's, interest on, now you're reading about Timbuktu, but it's a ad to give you a discount to go swim with the penguins in Antarctica. Well, you're interested in Timbuktu. Well, here's this thing for, swimming with the penguins in Antarctica. And in order for you to get back to your story on Timbuktu at Timbuktu.com, you've got to press this little itty tiny bitty X that you assume is the close button. So you quickly, because you're up, you're a little bit frustrated and annoyed that you just had your experience interrupted. So you quickly take the mouse and take the cursor and go up to where you think the X is, and you click the X, but you miss the X. You didn't fully hit the X because it's so damn tiny. Next thing you know, your entire experience is being interrupted because now your computer's opening a new page, giving you all the lavish wonders and information that you never wanted to know about swimming with the penguins in Antarctica. And you find not only that, but now you find out that not only do you not get the Timbuktu article, because now you're over on the Antarctica website, and you're looking at something stupid that you do not want. But it's also now it's telling you, oh yeah, by the way, this discount to go swim with the penguins in Antarctica, oh, that's in January only. So it's kind of like Obamacare. It sounds good. This Timbuktu article sounded good. Obamacare sounds good. And then you get over to Obamacare and you get all signed up, and then bam, Oh, by the way, your new plan, it's not like your old plan. It doesn't cover the same thing. Just thought you'd like to know. And by the way, your deductible, in your old plan it was $2,000. Now it's $6,000. Just thought you'd like to know. Kind of like, the discount is only good to swim with the penguins is only good in January. I got some of you though. Do you know Antarctica, January is in the summer? It is, but there you go. But this is the kind of stuff that you're constantly getting with government. And it's kind of catching up to us in the private sector. But the point is that many of us will get highly irritated if this kind of thing happens in the private sector, where we have a better chance of getting what we want. Anyway. But now then it happens in the public sector or in government, and we don't seem to want to cry too much about it. Oh, no. I mean, it's okay. Well, let me give you an example. And I said I wasn't going to talk about this, but I can't help that because this has got to be the dumbest thing. There was an article the other day I saw over the weekend that talked about the most cheatinest. I think it was on Facebook. It was a Facebook meme. Talking about the cheatinest teams in the NFL. The Patriots were like towards the bottom as far as teams, number of cheats they got caught at or were suspected of. I didn't read the whole article. I just looked at the list, and the Patriots were down low. And I should have read it. I should have read the article because it had the Pittsburgh Steelers as being the second most cheating team in the NFL. I'm thinking, well, if they cheated so much, why don't they win more often? And why don't they get penalized more often? Because they're not one of the most penalized teams in the league. But when they're playing a game, they don't get as many penalties. And they obviously have not been winning very much over the Patriot dominated decade. So. Yeah, they've won a few times, but nowhere near the Patriots. So, maybe that's why I dismissed the article. But at the same time, worried about Tom. Now, Tom Brady is being suspended for four games. I mean, this is really a minor infraction. The NFL, arguably the NFL's biggest active star, they just suspended for 4 games. Now let me put it to you this way, and they're fining the Patriots themselves $1 million. So Brady's suspended for 4 games. The Pats are fined $1 million. Players, celebrities react to Pat's punishment. Alabama House passes the Tim Tebow Act. I don't know what that's all about. But so Brady gets suspended for the first 4 games of the new season. Now, you have to understand something. Brady isn't going to allow this to affect his legacy. He will probably play. He will probably come back after the 4-game suspension. He will probably play out this season, no matter where the Pats end up in the playoffs, in the Super Bowl, or not. I bet you this will be Brady's last season. Because why? Look, the guy's got everything. And he's what, 38, 39 years old? Why does he have to keep doing this? Why? He's already got the mansion, the huge mansion, 2 beautiful kids, a beautiful supermodel wife who herself just retired from the runway. So there are some signs there that the Bradys are ready to move into a more private, more normalized type of lifestyle. He doesn't need football anymore. He doesn't need it. So yes, he's still competitive. Yeah, maybe he did know something about the. But we're talking. This doesn't matter. People were getting so upset over this. This does not matter. And I cannot believe that I get this, daily, and I'm out there during the day and working. Well, Rod, what do you think about this? I'm like, why are you asking me this? And I cannot get away from it. Look, folks, the NFL is overreacting. Let me put it to you bluntly and plainly. 4-game suspension, $1 million fine. The NFL is way overreacting on this. Way overreacting. I mean, we've had far more serious rules broken by individuals and teams in the past, and their punishment was nowhere near this. I mean, they were just, not to mention, this could have been prevented before it even started, or even as it started. And the NFL didn't see the need to try to stop it. I'm sorry, this is kind of like a setup. This is why I think Brady is just about done. Because, look, I mean, as far as teams go in the NFL, sure, ordinary people like you and I, the spectators who sit, the fans, you got to love Brady. I mean, there are people that love to hate him because, he's so good and he's been winning so much. So, yeah, naturally, and their QBs aren't winning. So, naturally, you're going to hate him for that, and it wouldn't matter who it is. But I think it's just pure jealousy from people that the New England Patriots have this guy, and that he is so good. He's probably one of the top 5 QBs to play this game ever. Maybe he's not finesse. He doesn't have a lot of grace and finesse on the field. So that doesn't mean he's not good. Yeah, I know he's slow. He's kind of lumbering. He doesn't have moves. Although I think the older he's gotten, the more nimble he's gotten, actually. He moves a lot better now than he did when he was in his 20s. Be that as it may, it's I don't know. Maybe it's just, I guess because he's got it all. He's got the pro sports career. I mean, he's a good-looking guy. If you pay attention to all the women, and speaking of gays, and all the gays out there, yeah, they adore this guy, his looks. I mean, when Tom Brady had the long hair a few years ago, it was like, ooh, look at Tom. How long is Tom's hair now? I mean, everybody was just even people in football, the pro, the watching ESPN or something. They were focusing on Tom Brady's hair. I mean, are you kidding me? So it's look, they have built up this guy. Now, all you want to do is play football. The sports media has built up Tom Brady, built him up to superstar status, because you don't see. Let's face it, there aren't other QBs out there that are getting the kind of press that Tom Brady is, and I'm talking about the positive side. Has nothing to do with Deflategate right now. But they're making a story out of this, a big, huge story, that now that the NFL feels like it has to, in order to protect the integrity of the game, they have to overstep and overpunish in order to bring people back into the fold. And it's nothing but adding more drama. Because now what happens, the Pats win 3 of their first 4 games without Brady. Or maybe they lose all 4, drop all 4, but Brady comes back and boom, they win the in the next 12. Are they still playing 16 games, or is it 18 regular season games? Anyway, they win the rest of the season. And they make it to the playoffs, and they win the playoffs, and they get into the Super Bowl, and God forbid they win again. And everybody's going to wonder, well, how did that happen? Because he was out the first 4 games. But in the meantime, we have a president who can't handle the world on fire in the Middle East. We have a Democratic candidate who's a known liar. She's a suspected lawbreaker. high crime and misdemeanors. And one of her cohorts is a communist, and he's entering the presidential race. And they all want to do stuff to us, not for us, but to us. And yet we're more concerned about Tom Brady. That guy's going to be fine no matter what. He's always going to be Tom Brady. He's always going to have that legendary football career. He's always going to have, I'm going to assume he's a rather smart businessman. He's always going to have money. Him and his wife will always have money. They're a beautiful pair, a beautiful couple. They're always going to be on top of the world. So you have to ask for something that is fleeting. Because does it matter that they won the Super Bowl this year? No, because in August, the trek for the new Super Bowl comes. And they go down in history as being a Super Bowl winner. Big deal. However, somebody being elected to high office obviously can affect our everyday life. Hello, Obama and Obamacare? Now, there would be no Obamacare if we did not elect Obama the first time. There would not be Obamacare at all. But we think, I guess that was important, though. Or excuse me, I guess that wasn't important. It was more important to worry about who was going to go to the Super Bowl that year. Was it going to be the Patriots? Were they going to win? Was Tom going to cheat? But now we got Obamacare and hardly anybody likes it. And we're wondering, well, how did we get it? Well, you elected Obama, you fool. Because you thought that was more important than doing something real. And now we're being distracted again by a number of different things. And now, but this Brady thing is the same. I mean, really, why is this being blown up? Why do people even care that much? I mean, I listen to people call into Hannity and call into Rush Limbaugh and call into Mark Levin, and people are just and call in to the early morning shows on the radio. The early morning drive shows. I mean, like the Kane Show and the Kid Craddock Show and a bunch of others, and people are they're livid. I'm like, really? You guys are going to spend this much time being annoyed with Tom, which isn't going to affect you one way or the other. Tom Brady, whether he plays or not, is not going to affect you at all. It's not going to affect me either. It's not going to affect either one of us. The only people it is going to affect are the people that play on the Patriots and Brady himself. That's it. Not going to affect you or me at all. Well, we live for this stuff, Rod. It's going to be sad. Well, yeah, you'll get over your sadness, I hope. Because it really doesn't mean anything in the greater scheme of things. But, what's more important is making sure that you get elect the right president, the right senator, the right House of Representatives, the right legislature in your state government, the right governor. All of that is more important. The right mayor, as we see here there in Baltimore, all of that is vastly far more important than worrying about if Tom Brady is being punished at all or enough for possibly knowing something about balls being slightly underinflated. Really.
Daenerys Targaryen. She says she is the mother of dragons. But would you trust her with your kids? Her father was a maniac. She palled around with Dothraki terrorists. She asked the city of Karth for a government bailout. Then she lost 3 baby dragons after placing them in an unlocked wooden box. An unlocked wooden box. This Khaleesi wants to be queen of the 7 kingdoms, but can she be trusted? Daenerys Targaryen. Wrong for dragons. Wrong for the realm. Paid for by the Committee to Protect Dragons.
We don't know anything about him.
He was never really vetted. Is he really the true-born son of Robert Baratheon?
All over the 7 kingdoms, people are asking the same question. Who is the real King Joffrey? The people of Westeros are hurting. Winter is coming. Crop yields are falling, and the price of fuel is going up.
The cost of peat moss is through the thatched roof.
And this young and inexperienced king takes advice from a whoremongering imp and has launched an illegal war in the north. What is King Joffrey hiding? This is not our kind of family values. King Joffrey. What a bastard.
What a bastard.
Paid for by the young Baratheons for freedom. Robb Stark. He's the biggest celebrity in the North. But his father was a traitor. He arrested his own mother. His bastard brother deserted the Night's Watch. And he couldn't defend his own castle. Worst of all, Robb Stark hasn't stopped the wildlings from invading our lands and taking our jobs. He even has an illegal alien for a nanny. And now he wants to be king in the North? King? Some people say he's really a wolf. Some people say he eats dead people. We can't wait until it's too late. Send a raven to Winterfell now and tell Robb Stark to go back home. Stop eating dead people and defend the damn wall. This ad paid for by Crossbows GPS.
You shouldn't have to pay to talk to the people closest to you, or the people who used to be. That's why Umbrella Wireless is proud to announce the new Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan. Now you'll get unlimited calls to your best buddy, your mom, or Cindy, once she realizes that you're seriously meant for each other and should stop screening your calls. Now the 30 minutes of agonizing silence where you're both afraid to hang up may drain your battery, but it won't drain your wallet. And you'll get unlimited calls just to check if she still cares enough to pick up, with no extra charges. With the Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, your phone will automatically answer calls from your ex, because maybe she finally realizes that you're the only one for her and wants to get coffee sometime. Now, after lonely nights of looking at pictures of the road trip you took together when everything was great, your misspelled texts are absolutely free. The only thing you have to pay for is the booze. The Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, because she wants you back. She just doesn't know it yet.
When you can't find anything to watch on cable, you get bored. When you get bored, you listen to radio cooking shows. When you listen to radio cooking shows, you invite a friend over for dinner. When you invite a friend over for dinner, you use twice as many beans. When you use twice as many beans, you expel deadly farts that kill your friend's dog. When you kill your friend's dog, your friend becomes unstable. When your friend becomes unstable, you're sued for everything you're worth. When you're sued for everything you're worth, you're thrown to the streets. When you're thrown to the streets, you devote your life to world domination. When you devote your life to world domination, you become an evil fascist overlord. When you become an evil fascist overlord, old friends plot their revenge. When old friends plot their revenge, you are shot in the back of the head. And when you're shot in the back of the head, you miss your jazzercise appointment. Don't miss your jazzercise appointment. Upgrade to Indirect TV. Go online or call 1-800-ERECT-TV.
Millions of Americans every day are shedding unwanted pounds by taking tested and proven Ultra Lipostick. Carbohydrates are bad, bad. Our carbo-fighting antioxidant is good, good. Just listen to these satisfied customers.
My name is Gail, and I lost like 20 pounds on Ultra Lipostick.
My name is Jared, and I lost 46 pounds using Ultra Lipostick.
My name is Zach, and I actually gained weight. This stuff sucks!
Ultra Lipostick is safe and easy to inject. Just 3 doses 4 times a day discreetly underneath your fingernail. Listen to this.
I used Ultra Lipostick and suffered from side effects like uncontrollable greasy discharge.
Ultra Lipostick, it turned the armpits of all of my shirts orange. This stuff is crap.
Try it today and see some real results. Ultra Lipostick. Not available in stores. Results may vary.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Most politically incorrect black man on the planet, Rod Eccles.
You know, Tom Brady and the Patriots are being punished more harshly right now for playing a game, a sports game. Being punished more harshly for playing a game and for possibly cheating in that game than our politicians get for cheating in an election. Or defrauding people in an election. That's no joke, folks. So again, I'm asking the question, why? How is this so important when we've got so many other things that are far more important, priorities here? I mean, fine, great. Tom Brady's going to be punished for, but is there any actual proof that I don't think that this 4-game season is actually going to go on, or 4-game punishment at the beginning of the season is going to go unchallenged. You just wait. There's no way, because the NFL doesn't. They said, well, we don't have any proof that, we believe that he knew, but we don't have any proof. It's kind of like the Baltimore stuff, the Baltimore cops. They're just going to punish these guys by charging them, even though there's no possible way that they can prove any of the just about any of the charges that have been brought up against them. There's no way that the prosecution can prove any of those charges. The evidence isn't there. So this is kind of the same thing with Brady. But we will let, we're not going to let Brady get away with stuff, but we're going to let, politicians who decide state, national, and international policy get away with less than scrupulous methods of garnering their positions and instituting their favored policy, as it were. Hello, my favorite fellow Americans. Yes, you're my favorites, too. It is I, your lovable host, Elrod, coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is live free or die. It is not big government or bust, as we bounce on into hour number 2 here on this Monday, May 11th, in the year of our Lord 2015. And should you wish to join me tonight and just give me a call at toll-free 603-835-3224. That's 603-835-3224. It is there for you. I also want to take this moment to ask for your assistance in something. And that is, I'm going to ask this thing because I think it's very important that you pay attention and view this or listen to this as another commercial, if you will, but a rather important one. And this is for I would like to be able to start focusing even more on helping vets through the Zinc Agency. And so there is going to, excuse me, this summer there's going to be, because jobs, there is a job cycle, just like there is, a school cycle, and a cycle to everything else. There's also job cycle. And the jobs, trying to find a job in the summer can be very hard, can be very stressful. One, because a lot of hiring managers, they go on their vacations, they're in vacation mode, even if they're at work. Other decision makers are not easily available, and things get stretched out. And people just don't pay a lot of attention to you. For obvious reasons. It's the summer, man. When you were fully employed, you kind of had the same type of thing going on in your mind. It's the summer, man. But as we ramp up for September, September and October are two of the biggest hiring months out there, actually. So if you want to get in front of people for an interview to get that offer, just go to the Facebook page for now. There are some other things coming. There will be some other pages, some other websites. It's not just going to be one. This is going to be. You're going to be impressed by it. So, but just go to the Facebook page right now. Facebook.com/Zinc Agency, and you'll see it. And contact me there. I do have one person who is helping me with this, and so it's either he or I will be your agent. Well, I mean, even if you get him, you still have me, but you will still have an employment agent. That's somebody in your corner if you are a military vet is seeking to change your career, to up your career, or to get a career in the civilian world. I don't know how else to say that. So, contact information is over there. Full contact information, what to do and what not. So if you know a military vet, now you have to, I'm sorry, but, well, I'm not really sorry. I'm doing something for people who have risked it all for us. This is the least I could do to give back. If you are a military vet, or you know somebody who's a military vet, then have them go over to the Zinc Agency Facebook page. Like the page. Don't like the page, I don't care. Just contact us over there. That's all that really counts. We have helped some vets obtain jobs already. I've been doing this kind of quietly for the past 2.5, 3 years now. And now I think it's time. I know I have gotten the system down pat that I developed, and it's time to up it a notch, as it were, to be able to help more. And look, folks, it doesn't cost you anything if you're a vet. It's not going to cost you a dime. If I can't find you a job, you owe me nothing. You never will owe me anything. All hiring fees, if there are any, are paid by the hiring employer. Kind of like if you're a movie star, the agent doesn't pay the star, the studio pays the star and the agent. So it's the same thing. There's no different. So do that if you're and once again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you tremendously to all our vets for your service. Past and present. Speaking of crooked politicians, and this is kind of interesting because I'm going to talk about this, and if you'll note, you're not going to hear Democrats do something similar, liberals do something similar. Now, this is out of Vermont, and this is from crooksandliars.com. Vermont State Senator Norm McAllister was arrested last Thursday and charged with multiple felony counts of felony sexual assault and 3 related misdemeanors connected with a sex for rent scheme. McAllister is a Vermont state senator and a Republican in a very Democratic led state. So I don't know why he thought he was going to get. First of all, he's a Republican. So one, he's real lucky to have gotten elected in the first place in Bernie Sanders' state. And two, why did he think he was going to be able to get away with something being in such a democratically controlled state and he was a Republican? Hello, McFly? Prosecutors allege that Senator Norman H. McAllister, a Republican out of Franklin, Vermont, over a period of several years, sexually assaulted two women who were his tenants and employees, and that he attempted to solicit a third woman. That third woman called police last week, launching a fast-moving investigation that by Friday was reverberating throughout the state capital of Montpelier. The investigation moved swiftly, beginning Monday and ending on Thursday with his arrest. They must have had some pretty damning evidence, if they were able to move that quickly on him. Now, according to court papers, the investigation into McAllister's conduct began Monday, and over the following days, police had two of the women place recorded phone calls to the senator. Now, in the conversations, which are quoted in a sworn police affidavit prepared by Detective Sergeant Benjamin Katz, K-A-T-Z, yes, that Katz, of the Vermont State Police, McAllister made allusions to exchanging sex for rent payments he is due. Now that's, I guess that's solicitation, right? Now, you got to understand, nowhere in the story does it mention the man's age. Oh, yes, it does. McAllister, over at the time, back in reached by phone overseas, Weston said that the Upton upon introducing herself to McAllister in 2007. He says, "It's nice to meet you, but it would have been better to meet you with your clothes off," she said. Now, back in 2007, McAllister was 55, and one of the victims was 25. So back then, that's 7-8 years ago. So the guy is now 63 years old, and he's still doing it. And I got to tell you, there's a picture of him, obviously. He's not a looker. Even from, a guy-to-guy perspective, he's not. He's an old man. He's not a looker. Evidently he owns some real estate property, and he makes real estate He has real estate investments and holdings. Maybe he's got some money. It really probably doesn't take all that much to be considered to be wealthy or upper class in Vermont. I'm not putting down Vermont. Vermont is an absolutely beautiful state with a very friendly and very knowledgeable citizens. I love going to Vermont. Vermont's got some quirky laws that I don't particularly like, but I stay out of trouble when I go to Vermont, so I don't have to really worry about those laws. But it's a beautiful state. I have vacationed in Vermont numerous times. I plan to do more of it. And there are places that I will avoid, like Ben & Jerry's ice cream now, because of who Ben & Jerry's is. Not because I don't like their ice cream, but because I do. But I don't buy it anymore for obvious reasons. And if you've ever listened to this program long enough, you will know why I do not buy Ben & Jerry's anymore. But this, they're anti-military. Let me just put it that way. Ben Cohen of Ben & Jerry's is very anti-military. But this guy, he's a Republican. And there's nobody standing up for him. Now, if he were a Democrat, you'd have the Democrats, calling, well, he was entrapped and blah, and he really didn't do that, and they really didn't like him, so it's a Republican plot to try to get rid of him. You don't hear any Republicans in Vermont saying this is a Democratic plot trying to entrap McAllister and get rid of one of the few Republican senators in the state legislature, blah, blah, blah. No, this guy's, look, He is innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt in a court of law in front of a jury of his peers. If it goes that far, he's got that right. That's who he is. But he's innocent until proven guilty. But if they've got him on tape saying this, it's well, sorry to say, that's kind of guilty there, dude. You better make a plea. On to the story that I mentioned last segment. This is from the dailymail.com. A couple raising 10 children in tents on a garbage dump banned them from school and threatened concerned neighbors with guns. Their defense? It's all part of the trendy free-range parenting fad. Now, I have not heard of this free-range parenting fad. So this free-range parenting fad means living in dirty tents in on a garbage dump. I don't know. This first I've heard of it, but again, here's a story. Joel Nogler, Naugler, and pregnant wife Nicole Nogler claim authorities disagree with their free-range parenting style in Breckinridge County, Kentucky. Now, free-range children have absolute independence from infancy. But a CPS report states the family of 12 live in squalor surrounded by broken glass and garbage in 2 makeshift tents. Now, the Child Protective Services, CPS, alerted after neighbors said Joel Nogler threatened him with a knife. Now, according to a report, they seized the 10 kids and arrested the parents after they refused to let investigators speak to the kids. Well, I don't know. Last time I checked, they were not the state's kids. Why would you arrest the parents? Because they refused to let you speak to. You don't get to speak to kids. Another person's kids. I don't care. You don't get to. Just because, well, we're the government. No, you don't get to. You're gonna have to go through the parents on this one, in order to speak to the kids. Or, well, I guess or through their lawyer. If they have a lawyer. So a family of 10 children have been seized by Kentucky Child Services after they were allegedly found to be living in squalor in a tiny cabin filled with garbage. Now we're told it's a cabin, but I thought it was... I love these stories. This is why you read through them, and you try to pick them apart in order to try to find the true story. Sometimes it's hard. So let me reread some of the bullet points to you. A CPS, Child Protective Services report states a family of 12 live in squalor, surrounded by broken glass and garbage in 2 makeshift tents. In 2 makeshift tents. Now, go down into the body of the story. A family of 10 children have been seized by Kentucky Child Services after they were allegedly found to be living in squalor in a tiny cabin filled with garbage. So you got to ask, what's going on? Is it 2 dirty tents, makeshift tents, or is it a garbage-filled tiny cabin? Now, already red flags in my mind are going up that there's something amiss here. Why are these parents being targeted in the first place? Yeah, they got 10 kids, big deal. So what? And they might be poor, financially poor. So what? Looking at a picture of these kids with apparently their dad, they don't look unhappy. They don't look dirty, and they don't look like they're in squalor. I don't, I know it's just a picture, but, and then there's another picture of of their home, and there's called the Blessed Little Homestead, and there appears to be, a makeshift cabin, and attached to it is a tent for like a 3-season porch type of thing. But I don't, it's Kentucky. It could be like, coal miner's daughter country. I don't know where this is in Kentucky. And people would look at this and they would judge this family and say, this is you shouldn't want your kids to live like this. Okay. But, who says that the only way to raise a child is in the city? With a bathroom in a high rise or in a over mortgaged home. Are we that spoiled? Are we that spoiled that that's the only way that we think we can live and raise kids now is in that type of atmosphere? There are many types of ways. But what is happening is that the government is deciding that it's going to limit your ability to decide how you live your life. No, don't doubt me on this, folks. This is what is happening. They are deciding how you're going to live. Now, I'm not an advocate for allowing kids to live in squalor. I'm not. However, if the kids are not really neglected, they're not malnourished, and if all their quote-unquote squalor is that they're poor, that's not an excuse to take people's kids away from them. Sorry. It's not. I mean, especially if the kids are well-rounded, happy. These parents actually, I guess they posted pictures of their homestead on their Facebook page, and kids like to play in mud, and you see some of the pictures, and kids, some of the babies, a couple of babies, they're in what appears to be plastic diapers like Pampers. Now, if you're that poor, you don't buy Pampers. Just saying. If you can't afford, diapers are expensive, man. The Pampers style diapers and stuff, the plastic disposal, that's kind of expensive. So looking at that alone says, well, maybe there's, they have a little bit more than the story is letting on. And so is the government really coming in there and saying, no, we don't like it, so we're just going to take your kids away? Look, one of the part of the problem is that these parents are homeschooling their kids. They're homeschooling their kids. And they're teaching them things that they're not being taught in regular public indoctrination centers, those places, those buildings that we call public schools. So is that the real problem? Is that the real issue? Is that these parents are teaching their kids something other than the approved standard curriculum in a public school? I'm thinking that might be it. That might be the reason why they're being targeted. Oh, because we already know that Obama doesn't particularly like any of us to be Christian. Even though he claims to be one, I don't think that he really is, and he doesn't really like us all that much, all those who claim to be Christian. He doesn't like us that much. And every chance he gets, he tries to rub our nose into it. Every chance he gets, he tells us that we're, second-class citizens. I'm talking about Obama here. Plain and simple. And so now we've got a state moving in to what appears to be a very active, a very healthy. I mean, all these kids look like they're well-fed. None of them doesn't look like they're malnourished. Very happy, well-adjusted, playful, inquisitive children that just happen to live on a homestead that doesn't look like the house across the street from you, probably, or your house. And that, according to the state of Tennessee, is grounds for taking the 10 kids away and probably splitting up those siblings so they're not together. Now, you want to talk about really damaging kids? How about ripping them from their parents, loving parents, and separating them from their siblings? Yeah, I think that's more damaging than anything else. Good job.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. Call InventHelp today.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-352-1609. That's 1-800-352-1609.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method and to get your free report, go to 52security.com. That's the number 52security.com. 52security.com. Go to 52security.com.
Hurt or injured in a car accident? It can be hard to take the proper legal action after a car accident, but waiting can cost you more. The law requires car accident victims to assert claims promptly. You could lose out by simply waiting. Call 800-709-4667 right now to see what your claim could be worth when handled by a skilled attorney. With a lawyer fighting and speaking up for you, you could be entitled to a big cash award. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Now it's fast and easy to connect with the legal help you need after your car accident. Call 800-709-4667. The call is free, but you need to act now before time runs out on your claim. You need a lawyer to fight for you, protect you, and get you the compensation you need and deserve. Time's wasting. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Call now.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
You shouldn't have to pay to talk to the people closest to you, or the people who used to be. That's why Umbrella Wireless is proud to announce the new Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan. Now you'll get unlimited calls to your best buddy, your mom, or Cindy, once she realizes that you're seriously meant for each other and should stop screening your calls. Now the 30 minutes of agonizing silence where you're both afraid to hang up may drain your battery, but it won't drain your wallet. And you'll get unlimited calls just to check if she still cares enough to pick up, with no extra charges. With the Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, your phone will automatically answer calls from your ex, because maybe she finally realizes that you're the only one for her and wants to get coffee sometime. Now, after lonely nights of looking at pictures of the road trip you took together when everything was great, your misspelled texts are absolutely free. The only thing you have to pay for is the booze. The Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, because she wants you back. She just doesn't know it yet.
Rod Eccles Show.
Hey, there's another poll out there. Yes, another poll. I know I talk about how, you can't follow polls, but this is an interesting poll. And it's not about candidates. This poll is about where this country is headed, actually, and it's kind of a scary poll. And I'm not going to lie, it's a very bothersome poll. Now, it's a poll with a good question, however. I mean, this question is the point of the poll is a very good one, because this is the kind of stuff we need to know. And I will break this down for you as to why this poll is the way it is, the way the results of it is, and why I believe the poll to be fairly accurate. And it is a worrisome description of where this country is going. Now, please keep in mind one thing here: the Constitution. And as we move forward through this story, as I tell you more about it, you will have to keep that in mind, the Constitution. And then you will also understand at the same time why things are the way they are right now. Okay, here we go. Here's a poll. Democrats, this is from hotair.com. Democrats now view socialism almost as favorably as they view capitalism. And I'm sure you're probably thinking, well, Rod, they're Democrats. They've always viewed socialism. What's the key factor here is Democrats drifting left over time as Clinton's coalition was replaced by Obama's, or the word socialism being watered down since its Cold War heyday. And that is it. It's been watered down in our institutions of higher learning, our big education, and in our public indoctrination centers we call public schools. This is why you have, this shift into saying, well, socialism isn't so bad. Socialism can be pretty cool. In other words, getting somebody else to pay for you. That's a pretty cool concept. That's okay. And it's becoming more and more acceptable for this. But here's the breakdown. 52% of Americans have a favorable view of capitalism, while only 26% have a favorable view of socialism. And you're probably thinking, well, that's not too bad. Oh, that's horrendous, folks. That's a horrendous, barely half, a little over half of Americans have a favorable view of capitalism. The very basis of this country, the very notion, the very foundation that our Constitution is based upon, pure, unadulterated capitalism, freedom. Only 52% of Americans have a favorable view. Now that you understand that, you don't think that number's so good anymore, do you? Now, among younger Americans, however, attitudes are a lot more divided. Again, as we have moved more and more into this notion of big education and our public indoctrination centers that we call public schools, 36% of under 30s, people under 30, 36% have a positive view of socialism, while only 39% have a positive view of capitalism. Oh, wait, what? Let me give you that number again, or that statistic again. Now, this is for people under the age of 30. This tips into the millennials right now. Keep that in mind. 36% of those under 30 have a positive view of socialism. The Wall Street thing? Yeah, Occupy Wall Street gang? Mm-hmm. Yeah, millennials, under 30, most of them. Yep, 36% have a positive view of socialism. In other words, trying to tell you how to live your life and dictate how much you're going to be able to earn. And only 39% of those under the age of 30 have a positive view of capitalism. Now, those are the people that are going to try to keep this country and this economy moving forward. But it's only 39%. Not 52% anymore, is it? A little worried now? Can you see where I'm a little bit worried about where all this is going? Now, here's another number that is striking in its comparison and differentiating between those who are over 65. Now, these are people over 65. These are, not the baby boomers. Over 65, these are the World War II and Depression era babies. So here we have those over 65 who came at the height of at the age of the Cold War. Only 15% look upon socialism favorably, while only 59% have a favorable view of capitalism. Now you see that continuing slide down from our 65-year-olds, from that World War II Cold War era generation of children, 65 and older. Only 59% of them have a favorable view of capitalism. But the good news on that side is only 15% of them look on socialism favorably. But then you average it out to all Americans, and that 59% drops down to 52%, and then you get to those who are up and coming, the millennials, those people under 30, and that favorable view of capitalism drops from 59% to 39%. Do you see a worrisome trend? Now, I bring this to you because I want you to fully understand what you are doing. If you're a parent right now of a high school student or a college student, if you're a parent, I am pointing out, and I'm not going to hold back on this one. You are contributing to the downfall of this nation, and you're probably saying, how is that? If your kid is going to a public indoctrination school or center, otherwise known as a public school, or you're sending them to one of these big, highfalutin, way left-wing, big education schools of higher learning, then you're contributing to this country's downfall because your kids are learning socialism good, capitalism bad. And look, you don't have to believe, it's documented proof that this is what's going on. Even the left admits it. So you can't challenge me when the left themselves are admitting this stuff. But I'm telling you, you're contributing to the downfall of the very nation that you claim to love by participating in its destruction, by having your children educated by people who wish to see this country suffer, decline, and turn into a socialistic state. Don't doubt me on this, folks. Now, here's another breakdown. Democrats, 43% are much more likely than either independents or Republicans to have a favorable view of socialism. 43% of Democrats. Now, can you understand why my latest article was, delves into the fact that liberalism is a cult? It's a growing cult. Because no matter how much we can prove that socialism doesn't work, once they have been indoctrinated, once they believe, it's very difficult to yank somebody out of that system. It takes a lot to pull them out of that. I mean, there's a lot of pain associated with disconnecting with being a liberal Democrat. There's a lot of pain. There's a lot of emotional pain. Because you're wrenching them away from something that they've believed with all their being for so. It's kind of like, an atheist And finally convincing a long-time born-again Christian that there is no God. Can you imagine the emotional distress and pain of pulling this evangelical born-again Christian out of Christianity into atheism? That's a lot of emotional pain, folks. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen usually willfully. There's a lot of pulling and tugging and convincing and browbeating and brainwashing to get them to do this. So when you have brainwashed 43% of Americans into believing that socialism is good, you've got a problem. Now, the good news is that only 22% of independents think that have a favorable view of socialism, while only 9% of Republicans have a favorable view. Now, I got to tell you something. When I saw that it said 9%, I was a little flabbergasted by that. Really? Why are you a conservative? Well, just a Republican, however, doesn't mean you're conservative. But basically, if you have a favorable view of socialism, why the hell would you be a Republican? The very notion of socialism to just about any Republican is really kind of repulsive. Why would you be a Republican? So you see, this is even infiltrating the Republican Party. This notion of socialism good is even infiltrating the Republican Party. Now, you might say, well, Ron, it's only 9%. Look, 9% can become 18%, can become 36% in a heartbeat, in a generation. Look, we can see 2 generations removed, we go from 59% favorability for capitalism to only 39% favorability. In other words, the millennials' grandparents believe in capitalism, but those grandparents' grandchildren, the millennials, do not. What's the difference? The grandparents' children or the grandchildren's parents. Generation in between. That's the difference. And most of that is not Generation X. Most of that is, because Generation X is the smallest generation by numbers that is currently alive on this planet right now. Baby boomers and millennials happen to comprise the 2 largest generations. And the baby boomers have, be frank, I'm not a baby boomer, but Generation X here, but those baby boomers, man, they screwed up a lot. They screwed up their kids. So now I'm here to tell you, and it's only going to get worse because, now you got all these millennials who are starting to have kids. And those kids will be entering school pretty soon. Where are they going to send their kids? Or do you think maybe that the next generation, I don't know what that generation is called, the children of the millennials, do you think possibly maybe that they'll have even less, it'll be fewer than 39% view capitalism favorably? I think that is going to happen. And as it keeps dropping and dropping, you're going to see more Republicans, rhinos, if you will, who will rise up, who believe, in some form of socialism is a good thing. You'll see that 9% of Republicans have a favorable view of socialism start to rise rather dramatically. And within a generation or two, many of us could still be around. We're talking later half of this century. After 2050, we're going to be in real, serious trouble. As far as those who believe in the Constitution and the freedom in order to be able to, and those who believe in the freedom, having enough freedom to basically live your life without daily government intervention and telling you how to live, our days are numbered. And you're probably saying, well, Rod, once I'm dead and gone, I don't really care what my kids and grandkids and great-grandkids do, but let me tell you something. It's going to be a painful transition for you, especially in the time frame, in the time of your life where you're going to be the most vulnerable, elderly. Think about it. You may say, well, it's a fait accompli, Rod. It's going to happen, so we just might as well, give up the ghost and just and go along for the ride. Well, I'm telling you, that's not a good idea. Because most of us under the sound of my voice today, if we're going to be around after the year 2050, we're going to be senior citizens. And those are the people that are going to get the worst brunt of this socialistic change. And it's called social medicine, too. That look, many of us, now I know you probably don't like to hear this either, but that's what Obamacare is. It's the first step of socialistic medicine. Many of us are going to die directly due to social medicine. I'm telling you right now. Now, I know some people are saying, well, you got to die of something, you got to die sometime. Sure, fine. That you're absolutely right. But let me ask you, do you want to die at the age of 70 because the government decides, well, we want to save money, so you're not worth spending on these medical treatments? Or do you want to live healthy and fairly healthy and have medical treatment to keep you fairly healthy until you're 85? I don't know, an extra 15 years on this planet might be nice. I'm just saying, some people might not think so, but I'm thinking another 15 years would be kind of, you get to see your grandkids grow up, maybe even get to see your great-grandkids. Hey, I find that worthwhile. Are you going to put a price tag on your life or any other person's life? Socialist medicine, so it's here. It's going to grow unless we get rid of it. It's going to affect all of us. This is one thing that is going to affect all of us. Plain and simple. So I'm telling you, I'm serious as a heart attack. We're all in trouble. If these numbers keep falling and dipping, as far as favoritism towards capitalism is concerned, and these numbers keep rising as far as favoritism towards socialism is concerned, we're in trouble, especially those of us who are of, Generation X and above. Because we will be senior citizens, elderly, in the second half of this century. Now, many of us will probably get there before then, but we definitely will be. The bulk of us definitely will be. And you'll start to see millennials start to age into that category. So, but we're all going to be in trouble. Because and think about this. I know the poor Generation X. We're kind of squeezed. We've got the idiot baby boomers ahead of us. Large group of people. And their kids and millennials below us, another large group of people. And we're not going to have much pull. But we're going to suffer just the same. You got to think about stuff like that. Get your kids out of these public indoctrination centers. Send your kid to a smaller, more private school and pay attention to how the curriculum is taught and what their curriculum is. There are quite a few conservative-leaning institutes of higher learning out there that do not cost an arm and a leg, like going to Brown or Harvard or Yale or Princeton or Dartmouth or even some of the lesser ones. Like Wellesley College or Hampshire College or Smith College or UCLA or something like that. You can still go to smaller, more conservative, less expensive schools, still get a great education, and learn what the Constitution and conservatism and capitalism truly is all about. And if you get enough people who start going to these things, well, of course, it's going to spark competition. Because if you have a lot of demand, well, somebody's going to step up to try to fill that demand. So if you have a lot of demand for conservative thought, and conservative teaching, well, then there's going to be more schools that are started or changed over to serve that market, which will end up with more schools of conservative thought. Plain and simple, it's not hard. It's not a hard concept to understand. Marilyn Mosby, and this is from the Washington Times. Baltimore prosecutor Marilyn Mosby is under fire for political and celebrity conduct. A comparison is drawn to Duke Lacrosse and George Zimmerman cases. Well, yeah. Speaking of which, did you hear that George Zimmerman? I'm not going to get into that story. I don't have time today. But George Zimmerman was shot in a road rage incident. Evidently, he's fine. But he was shot in a. Look, the guy is just a mark. He's a marked man. There's no doubt about it. He's not. He can't go anywhere. Really, he can't. Without being recognized, without being targeted. Plain and simple. The guy is just marked. But Marilyn Mosby, the Baltimore City State Attorney in charge of prosecuting 6 police officers for the death of Freddie Gray Jr., is coming under increasing criticism from defense attorneys and legal scholars throughout the country who think she is politicizing the case and using her prosecutorial power to create her own celebrity. Oh, you think? I think we've already decided that that's the case here. We've already decided that this is what this woman is doing. We've already decided that she's out to make a name for herself, both in the legal field and in the political realm. She has higher aspirations, especially now. She does now. Now, Miss Mosby has raised eyebrows in several quarters with a media blitz that has spanned from CNN interview that focused on her courtship with her city councilman husband and her decision to appear on stage with Prince during a rock concert for a song dedicated to Mr. Gray. Look, you can't be out there trying a case in the media. That's not what this is all about. Oh, you gotta. I don't know what else. Yes, this is political. Yes, she's trying to make hay off of her celebrity, and she'll probably get some favorable bounce up in her political and professional career coming up. Don't doubt me, folks. Don't doubt me. Well, hey, this week is just getting started, folks, so hang around for the rest of the week. Same back time, same back channel. We're out of time for today. I'm Rod Eccles. This has been The Rod Eccles Show. I'm out.